Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mission Pro Wrestling's Unmatched. I'm joined by Trenda out on the West Coast. Trenda, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. The weather is getting better out here. So, I got to get some sun today. Still cool, but yeah, I'm doing good out here. How about you?
Yes, same here. It was like 30 something degrees yesterday, and it was like 80 today. It's going to be 88 tomorrow.
Oh,
So,
whoa. You're not getting that type of sun.
yeah. No, it's been a big jump for us out here. So, it's been great. I'm glad that the warm weather's here because growing up in Massachusetts, I am not a fan of the cold. So bring on. I don't care if it's 100. I'm happy.
Oh, wow. Okay. I love 100 too in the air conditioned house.
You guys had like 120, 130 last year, some
Yeah, and
ridiculous
I
numbers.
hibernate during that time. I'm in the house. Like we go grocery shopping and we bring everything and all the snacks, all the food, and this is what it is. It's mostly sandwiches and quick fixers.
A lot of iced coffees here, as you
A
know. A lot
lot
of,
of
lot of
ice
Dunkin' iced
coffees.
coffees. Bring it on, bring it on. I see a lot of people in the chat tonight. Appreciate everybody joining tonight. I see Mrs. Front Row talking about our community pool for our um, community here is opening. Well, they're preparing it for opening. It opens in a month or so. And
All
I see
right.
Sam in Cleveland. Thank you, Sam.
Hey,
Appreciate you joining
Sam.
tonight. I see Trey in here saying he loves snow. Uh, you're on your own. Sorry.
Yeah.
After 40
Okay.
years of dealing with snow, I'm kind of done with snow. Beautiful stuff, really heavy. It's hard to move it. Okay, so let's jump into some of the wrestling talk. So we've been focusing heavily on some of the matches from our past pay-per-views. We're taking a break from that tonight. We will return to that format next week with some exciting matches. But I wanted to talk about a couple of things. First of all, before we jump into the world of the wide world of pro wrestling and women's
Mm.
wrestling, I want to share where we are with the card. So the final match for our pay per view for Edge of Glory on April 22nd was announced on a mission this week,
Yes.
and that is, let me pull up a little graphic for everybody here. Where is it here?
Drum roll.
Yeah, I have it somewhere. Anyway, I don't know where it is. To delete it on me. It's just so we have the men's revolution is going to be in action. I wanted to get your thoughts on where we're doing with the men's revolution as far as some of the things that you've seen so far.
Well, I mean, the men's revolution, they honestly, I don't know what they're doing or where they came from. I mean, this is Mission Pro Wrestling. It is dedicated to and evolves around women, and I don't understand or seem to comprehend why they don't comprehend what is going on. It literally, I mean, we've always advertised as a women's promotion. So to come in and just think that you can look, there we go. To
There
come
we
in and
go.
just
I
think
knew I
that
had
you
it.
can, you know, um, um, press your line and decide that men are going to be in here because this is being sexist and I don't have time for all of that. JP, they need to get it together. Be happy that these women are allowing you to be in their presence because they all the women from Mission Pro usually go to greatness. We're waiting to see what JP is going to do. I mean, so I don't get it. They're just whining men, present company excluded, and I don't get it.
Okay, so on this week's On a Mission, we did. Let me pull the graphic back up now that I have it. We did see Danny B and Charity Kane were live on the show, and they did talk about how they had that Candy Cane Lane street fight back at Silver Bells 2 against Bougie
Hmm.
Reality. It was a incredible match, really, really fun, really hard hitting. But they want another opportunity at the title, at the tag title. So I believe Mission Pro Management did make this a number one contendership for the tag titles coming up next month. So let's see if they can get back into that position or not. It's going to be really interesting. A couple of the other matches that are on our card, and again, we've announced all of the matches now for the pay per view, is Emmy Camacho and Mia Friday. Emmy's
Yes.
been really making a name for herself in Mission Pro.
Yes, yes. I think that's going to be a great, great match. I'm sorry. There's someone in the chat who's just saying things like men deserve an equal space and fair pay. Like, let's not go there. Let's not go with the racism, the sexism, the things that have been going on where men are just. I don't even want to go there with whomever this person is in the chat. I hope he's. I hope
I think we all know who this
I
person
hope
is
we
in the
get a
chat.
moderator to block that person.
I think the moderator is the same person posting, so that might not work out for us.
Oh wow.
Hey, in fairness, Brian is not saying that's his opinion. He's just relaying the news. So don't kill the messenger.
Don't kill
But
the messenger. Hmm.
JP is saying that men deserve equal pay and equal space on the show. So we'll have to wait and see.
I'm sure. Blah blah.
I have a feeling that we'll probably hear more from them before the pay-per-view because they're never quiet for very long. Yeah, I hear you, Brian. JP says, I got you.
Okay, okay.
No need to politic. We got it. Yeah, so that's going to be really cool. Another match that I'm super excited for. Bougie Reality is defending their tag team championship against the Money Birds. The Money Birds have also made a name for themselves in Mission Pro. I don't know. This is going to be really interesting. Bougie Reality has really solidified themselves as a very cohesive tag team. It's another example of one of those teams that when they are put together, that we're not really sure if they're going to gel, and they really have. They've made a big statement over the last year and change. So I think
Well,
you're really going to have to bring your A game to unseat these
oh,
two.
definitely, definitely. Bougie reality is where it's at, but the same could go for the Moneybirds. I mean, when they initially hooked up as a tag team, they weren't, on the same page for a while. But I think that develops with time and just being together and realizing that this is something that you want to do as a tag team. So, if I was to choose a winner, I probably would still stay with the tag team champions, but they definitely have a great chance of just of becoming champs. They're definitely contenders.
Yeah, I agree. I see differing opinions here in the chat. So from the previous match, I see Lala's rooting for Mia Friday. I see. Oh goodness, we have Matthew Barnes is rooting for Lady Bird and Gigi. So not rooting for the champions. I
See,
see Brian is putting his stamp on Bougie Reality as the best tag team of the year. Hard to argue.
hey,
Um,
especially 2022. So yeah, definitely.
yeah, and so a couple of the matches that we do have on the card, we have Tiffany Nieves versus Shay Carmichael. Shay was recently on a mission, and if you get a chance to go back and watch that interview, it was a really fun interview. And Tiffany has, of course, made a huge statement as well, and her returning, could cement her as one of the cornerstones of Mission Pro. Um, she's really had some incredible matches so far.
Yeah, we covered one of her matches. She's definitely
We
definitely great.
we
Oh,
did.
Jasmine.
Okay, so now let's talk Jasmine Allure for a second, because for those who are following along at home, we've been talking about Jasmine and her rise to power, so to speak, her journey in Mission Pro Wrestling alongside and opposite Maddie Rankowski, and
Maddie,
they've
yeah.
had a story that goes all the way back to the first few pay-per-views, and they've been at odds. They've battled. They've done some uh, not so nice things to each other.
Yeah.
And so we've seen all the way up until the last pay per view that they can't seem to stay out of each other's business. So I'm going to be interested to see if there's any sort of crossover here, any sort of interaction. But this match is Jasmine versus Caitlin Alexis. So um,
Okay.
very cool match, and we're seeing a returning Vanity. Vanity was in our
Wow.
on a previous pay per view a
Yep.
while ago. It's been a minute since she's been in a Mission Pro ring, and Alejandra Lyon obviously has been a big part of Mission Pro over the last couple of years.
Yeah, she's been really Alejandra has really been doing her thing, and I think yeah, like you said, Vanity, I think it's been quite some time since I've seen her on Mission Pro, but
I think it's been like 2
I'm
years. It's been a minute. So
looking forward to see what she does. I mean, because I think that last pay-per-view where we covered her in the match, she didn't, if I'm not mistaken, she didn't win. So it didn't go that well. Let's see what her comeback does.
let's
So
see. I mean, so if folks watch that interview again on a mission, the interview with Vanity, she did talk about her journey over the last couple of years and everything that she's done to up her game and become an even better athlete and just train super hard. So she's become a different competitor since her previous appearance. Also on the
we'll
card,
see.
we have Misty Marks and
Hey,
Dream Girl Ellie. I'm a look. I'm all respect to Misty Marks,
yes.
but I'm not necessarily a big fan of the way that she was handled everything on the last pay per view. Poor
Well,
Vicky Dreamboat.
Well, okay, I get that, but I'm still a Misty Marks fan, and I'm rooting for her. I'm looking for her to be champ at one day. I think she's that good. I think she could do it. She has that homegrown, this is Texas, this is my town attitude, and hey, let's go. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, our main event for this pay per view is our champion Genocide defending her Mission Pro Wrestling Championship against Hyan. We've talked about this match. You've heard us talk about it on various platforms. It's on our social media. If you are not familiar with Hyan, and I don't know how you can not be,
Yeah.
uh, she's been all over making statements on promotions all over the world over the last few years, over the last many years at this point. She's an unbelievable competitor, and in my mind, this is one of the biggest challenges Genocide has had, even going back before her title reign. This is going to be a war. So buckle up. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've seen, I think only in the past couple of weeks, I've seen Hyans on different promotions, like Impact does tapings and stuff like that. But yeah, this is going to be a real challenge for Genocide. I don't think Hyans no one to just step over, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Um, okay, so Brian's putting a bunch of stuff in here. I want to just call a few things out here.
Oh,
So, first,
jeez.
Neil. I know Neil, our friend Neil, is a huge Hyan fan.
Let's see what
Hey,
Neil said.
nothing wrong with that. But Brian's right. Our YouTube channel is close to getting monetized. We are dangerously close to becoming monetized, and we would appreciate folks going back and watching some of the old interviews and matches. And there's tons of content there. Rewatch some of your favorites. Check out stuff you haven't seen. There's a lot of good stuff on our channel, and stay tuned because there's a lot more content coming up in the coming weeks leading up to the pay per view.
All right.
Oh yeah, so Pepe calls out Genocide's been posting a ton of training videos. Genocide's no joke. I mean, yeah, she looks like a powerhouse, but if you watch her training, that power comes with a tremendous amount of skill. She's a
Well,
trained combat enthusiast. Like she's dangerous. So and getting more and more dangerous by the week. So stay tuned to all the socials on this stuff. Okay, so let's jump into some of the emerging topics on through the world of women's wrestling. I've been such a huge fan of NXT for a number of reasons. One of the biggest reasons for me personally is just seeing all of the talent come through the world of independent wrestling through the doors of Mission Pro, and then moving on to NXT. There's a number of people there, including their the current champion, Roxanne Perez, as we've talked about in previous episodes.
Yeah.
But recently, Roxanne Perez faced Meiko Satomura and collapsed at the end of the match.
Hmm.
They were non-specific. NXT was non-specific about what the injury was, but from what I'm seeing, she's going to be okay. They said it was nothing serious. It was just a scare, which is very good. But currently, we're looking at their pay-per-view next week for Stand and Deliver. We have Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Tiffany Stratton, and Lyra
Lyra.
Valkyrie versus
Yeah,
Indy
Lyra.
Hartwell. So that's the ladder match for the NXT Women's Championship. The interesting thing is that they're not specifying that there's another competitor. They've said that there's another competitor. They haven't specified who it is yet.
Or
Our expect
actually, I think from my understanding is they haven't even specified how many competitors will be in this match. So I mean, we have another Tuesday before the pay-per-view. I mean, there could be at least another two, maybe even three competitors. They can do another competition.
yeah, it could be. It could be 10 people. Uh, yeah, not Valkyrie, Brian. Valkyria. She's Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah.
It was funny. We were watching her entrance, and her entrance looked a lot like Gozer the Gozerian's entrance in Ghostbusters. So, lots of smoke, lots of flash. It's a pretty cool entrance.
Mhm.
But also on NXT, we have Fallon Henley and Kiana James versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are two standout competitors from obviously previous to NXT, but in NXT UK, they're incredibly physical, um, very vicious competitors. This is going to be. I love the way that this feud has come up, and I love the way that these teams are being presented.
So, and they also had like the what is the contract, well, the feud with Ivy Nile and Tatum.
Hmm.
That's been it's been being very interesting. I've actually made me want to tune in just to see what they're going to do because of how their friendship used to be. I also was thinking this week I saw Tatum just kind of watching. I thought she actually was going to be the reason that Ivy lost the match, but it didn't turn out that way. But I'm looking forward to see how that story plays out because I can see them, since Ivy did lose, is not a competitor in the ladder match for the championship. I can see them, leaning that way and getting the story between her and Tatum. So that's going to be good too, because both of them are very good competitors.
Yeah, and this week we had Indy Hartwell versus Tiffany Stratton for that
Hmm.
spot in the match.
Yep.
I was genuinely surprised to see Indy
Yep.
lose this match.
Well, I mean, I was too because they've been really kind of pumping up the Indian Gigi story, so you
Mhm.
would kind of expect them both to be in there to at least maybe elaborate in the ring, as a sidebar, as an additional content in that ladder match with them having their own little feud. But no, um, she didn't make it. It's just Gigi. So yeah, that shocked me too. That shocked me.
Yeah, so there's several great matches on the card for Stand and Deliver. I think it's next Saturday, but I think it's at like 10 or 11 in the morning. It's early. It's midday. Um
Yeah, it is. I'm looking forward to watching it later.
I think I have to double check, but I think it's 10 o'clock Pacific, 10 a.m. Pacific. But
Yeah, I'll be at the Busted Open party, so
that's fair. That's
like
fair.
like a whole bunch of other chapter lovers. So we unfortunately, I don't know why they made it that time, but priorities.
Hey,
Would love to
you got to do
go.
it. Everyone's going to be there.
Yeah. So,
So let's talk a little bit about the main roster in WWE. This wasn't really a huge week from a storyline progression perspective. I expected it to be more impactful. I'm sure next week will be because it's
Yeah,
the go home shows.
they're gonna have to do
Um,
something next week to pump up the ladies at least. Yeah.
yeah, because Rhea and Charlotte, their feud, their pull apart last week was one of the best pull aparts I've seen in a long time.
Hmm.
They weren't messing around, and a few security guards got decked in the process. So it was uh,
Yeah, I am so I am really excited for that match. I am really excited for that match because I remember the first match when Rhea had just came up from NXT and Rhea was, this young woman, like she said, still finding herself, but still actually kind of living in that Charlotte shadow because people used to always compare her to Charlotte because of her. Maybe they had the same hair color, they kind of had the same body build at the time, and which is nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, being compared to Charlotte is definitely nothing to be ashamed of. But I see her that 3 years ago when she first came in and she wanted to just prove something to herself, and that's fine. She didn't get a chance to really get the outcome she wanted, but the real Ripley of today, she can do it. I think she's coming home with that belt.
yeah, it's been a great evolution for her as an athlete and as a character. The like as you said, when she first came in, her first appearance was back in the Mae Young Classic, and she was blonde haired as you mentioned and all that, very bubbly, and then
Yeah.
she went to NXT. She got an edge in NXT, and since joining Judgment Day, she's become one of the most vicious competitors, one of the most violent competitors. She is a powerhouse. She's incredibly strong and
Oh my
devious,
goodness. Yes.
and her in-ring game has leveled up in a big bad way over the last 2 years. Where when her first match with Charlotte at WrestleMania, it was very good, but I think we all
Mhm.
expected things to go the way they did. This time, no, I don't think so. My
Yeah.
money's actually on Rhea this time around. So
Yeah, me too. It's her time. It is her time, and like you said, she's dominating, and she looks the part. And I know there's a lot of shows and a lot of controversy as far as Charlotte being number one out of every female wrestler, even to the point of just being great as a pro wrestler in general, where she can fight and even have matches with men that could be believable, that would be some great storytelling. I think Rhea could do the same thing. I mean, like you just said, she's a powerhouse, and and to me, it's believable when she hits people. I believe it. I believe they're hurt.
yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I can't co-sign with the Charlotte being the best. I think that our champion Genocide is the number one woman in wrestling right now. But in WWE, Charlotte is definitely top of the
Definitely,
food chain.
and that was what I was referring to.
Okay. But that's a match I want to see.
Yeah, yeah.
Charlotte versus Genocide.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm
Oh,
talking
if we
about.
get fantasy book, if only, if only. Oh my goodness, yes.
Hey, why not? And so the conversation continues around, will this match main event night one of WrestleMania? We know night two is going to be main evented by Cody and Roman.
Hmm.
There's discussion around the men's tag team championship being defended against, we know that match is going to happen with the
Yeah,
Usos and KO and Sammy, but um, could the story of Charlotte and Rhea take that top spot on night one? There's an
yeah.
argument either way. I think so.
Yeah, and then there's like the crazy part about it is you brought up the tag team champions. There's also the Bianca and Oscar match, which
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I'm not looking forward to as much. I'm just not as invested in the match. I love this new Oscar. I really do. Everything that she's doing and like this new found killer in her, if that makes sense, compared to what she's been doing in the last couple of years or even since COVID started. But I don't know, I'm just not even watching Raw this week, just I'm just not. It just isn't doing it for me. It's not drawing me to want to come to WrestleMania.
No, that's a match that I'm going to be excited to stay home and watch. It's going to be, those
Yes,
two are great. I mean,
yeah,
I'm
and
super
not to knock
excited.
either. It's just you know I don't know. It's just it isn't hyped up enough for me. It wouldn't bring me to the table.
Yeah, and I still feel like Asuka doesn't really need to be around the title right now. She could just go back to her complete evil clown kana ways and run through the division as we've talked about recently. But
Yeah.
definitely excited for that match. Let's switch gears and talk a little bit of AEW. A couple of interesting things have been going on over there. We've been seeing the Outcasts sort of running roughshod over the division and making a statement against the originals. This week, Sky Blue had a match against Tony Storm. I do wish that the women's matches had a little more time on Dynamite. I think it was only like a 5.5 minute match. It's a good
Mm.
match. Both women are very good in the ring, but I would like to see those matches, especially ones that are part of such a new and interesting storyline, get a little more time. Um, these beatdowns are becoming sort of formulaic, so I hope that they switch up things a little bit. I love the story; they just need to keep evolving it.
Yeah.
You sighed.
I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I don't. And I know this is changing the subject, and I'm doing it intentionally. But it's almost crazy to see that um the new Ring of Honor and everything that's going on with them are under the same umbrella as this AEW, because the women matches over there are really good. I mean, and they're getting the time to actually tell the story and to kind of just build up around, like Athena. I think actually did Athena had a match with Hyde.
With High On last week, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that exactly. Oh, great match. I haven't seen Ring of Honor this week because it comes out on Thursdays, but they had great matches last week. They're giving the women time. They're in there telling the story. They have feuds going on. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were saying something, AEW, huh?
Okay. Okay. So if you're averse to discussing that topic, let's let's talk about the feud that's bubbling to the surface now with Jade Cargill and Taya
Ooh,
Valkyrie.
yes.
So Taya is a strong, very seasoned veteran.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time in a long time that I've seen someone put in a position to really to really pose a challenge for Jade. I know they teased it last week. This week, Ty is in a match against Layla Gray, so that's obviously all ties in together. I personally think that she's the right person to take that title off of Jade. I think they've done everything they can with Jade from that title perspective. Maybe she chases for the women's title down the road. I don't know, but do you think Ty is the right person?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. When I saw that she was all elite earlier in that day, and then she came down that ramp, I was like, oh, I can see this and I like it. Oh, I can see it. I can see the tension. I can see the look in Jay's eyes. It made me feel like she was, for once, a little bit scared of somebody. She tried to play it off, but you can see there was a little bit of hesitation there in her face. I'm like, yes, Taya, I have been watching her for so many years on Impact. I know her Lucha Libre history. I know she is just great in the ring. I honestly think, I mean, they had Jade as the champ. She's done a great job in taking that title, and I don't want to say elevating it, but making it prestigious enough in this company as a new title to make it credible. Let's
Hmm.
put it that way, credible. But I think Taya can definitely take it to another level because she has the background, she has the history, she has the following, and we know she's good in the ring. We know she can, get out there and dominate. Now they're going to have to try to find some competitors for her.
Mhm.
However, Taya, yes, Taya is where it's at. That's who I'm
I agree
going
with Neil.
for. Let's go.
Yeah, and so I was going to mention this, and I'm glad Pepe put this in the chat because we watched the GCW pay per view last weekend, and we saw
Yes.
Masha Slamovich defeated Nick Effing Gage, and she is now the GCW World Champion. And Masha was such a big part of Mission Pro, such a big part of some amazing moments. We've seen her wrestle live a bunch of times, and I'm very happy for her. I know you're a huge GCW fan. How did you feel about this moment?
I was so excited for her. I am so super happy for her. Like, and then it's kind of just like what we were just talking about with females who are just great wrestlers in general, not just a woman wrestler or not just, female wrestler, but a great wrestler in general to where she can get out there with the men and fight and show exactly what she's made of. I mean, she's killing it on Impact. Right now she's going through everybody on Impact. She might have had that loss against Mickey James, but ever since then, everybody they put in front of her has been a serious squash match. Masha is someone to look out for. I am totally on her team. I love her. Congratulations. I am happy for her. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
happy too because that match happened at a show in New York. So the state athletic commission doesn't allow for the same type of death matches that GCW has become so well known for. And of course, Masha can wrestle that style, but they were forced to really wrestle a more traditional fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved seeing this because it was great to see her win in that way, not just with the light tubes and all the bells and whistles,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
really wrestle like a
Wrestle.
very, very
Yeah.
physical, very hard battle.
Yes. Congratulations to her.
Yeah, and at some point during that match, I just felt bad for Nick Gage. I'm like, she's beating the crap out of him, and she put him to sleep. So I'm glad we got to see her in Mission Pro. So if you have not seen her match, just go back on our YouTube channel and on Title Match Network and search out Masha Slamovich. You'll find a bunch of good stuff. The other question I had, with regards to Impact, we're seeing Impact having more mixed tag matches, but like traditional intergender matches aren't all that common these days.
Mm.
Now, I don't follow Impact, so I'm going to need your 411 on this. Was this week or last week Masha and Bully versus Mickey and Tommy?
Last week, because this
Last
past
week.
week she unless it was today, which I haven't seen today's episode, but I know last week it was her versus Irie. So that's the
Okay.
last episode that I saw, and she totally squashed her. So yeah, yeah.
Okay. And I know tomorrow night is Impact's pay-per-view, right? Is it tomorrow night? Tomorrow night.
Friday,
Friday night. Tomorrow
Friday
night.
meal.
Yes, Friday night. Um yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff going on. We've got WrestleMania next weekend, we've got Stand and Deliver, we've got the multiverse, what is it?
Um,
Multiverse United. That's what's called,
yeah, the
Multiverse
Multiverse
United.
United will be on the 30th.
Yep.
That's actually on Thursday, I believe. And yeah, I found out we will be in the house for that. So yeah,
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. That's
And
pretty
then
cool.
they have a couple of things going on that weekend. I'm also going to be attending the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor show. So I'm really trying to hit a lot of the indie shows, and I have a couple of other little things that I will be at it, and of course the Busted Open Party. So yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks, Neil. He did keep me honest. That match was tonight. Masha and
Okay,
Bully and
yeah, that's what
Tommy
I'm
and
saying. I
Mickey.
was thinking it's tonight, but I haven't seen it as of yet because it's Thursday.
There's so many good matches. There's so many matches announced for the next like 10 days that I'm starting to lose track of, what show it's on and what promote. There's so many great women's matches. Just some really cool stuff. So keep your eyes open. If you have Fight Plus, there's a ton of stuff coming up next week. It's going to be great. And stay tuned to our YouTube channel over the next few weeks leading up to April 22nd. We have a lot of really fun stuff planned. Stay tuned to the socials. We're going to be releasing more videos and content. Um, I think Monday there's another match being released. We have match Monday. Tuesday is on a mission with Emily and Veda, and of
Yes.
course Thursday. Every Thursday you can find Trenda and I right here on Unmatched.
Yep.
Make sure you check out our socials. We are also there's a lot of folks that are interested in sponsoring. So if you are interested in sponsoring either a wrestler or the show, there's a lot of sponsorship opportunities. Email missionprowrestling@gmail.com and we'll get right back to you. Trenda, anything else that you want to cover before we go tonight?
No, just that I'm looking forward to next weekend being WrestleMania weekend, and WrestleMania week starts on Thursday. And just coming back and reporting all the stuff that I get to see and the people I get to meet, and yeah, having some fun in the pro wrestling world. Yeah.
Yep. And I was going to hit it, but Tony hit it for me already. Make sure you catch myself
Nation's Corner.
and our group of crazy people over there on Nation's Corner Saturday night, 7 p.m. on our YouTube channel at Nation's Corner on Twitter and at the Nation's Corner across all the other socials. It's going to be a fun week this week. We have a lot of interesting stuff to cover, so stay tuned.
I
You
bet
can
I'm
find
gonna catch that show myself.
good. Trenda, where can people find you on the socials?
So on Instagram, it's Have It Forming, all lowercase letters. And then also on Twitter is Have It Forming with the capital H and MN at the end. Yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. And before I tag myself, I have to give Neil, thank you, Neil, for the breaking news. New Japan broke the news tonight. Mercedes Monet will defend
Monet.
her IWGP Women's title at Sakura Genesis in a three-way match. This will be a first match in Japan as the champion. So
Okay,
that's
okay, because
awesome.
yeah, that was a topic I think I heard on Busted Open where a debate whether or not she had actually had a match in Japan as of yet. But yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Now that Mercedes is on is a free agent, she's sort of saying that she wants to tour the world and defend that title. There's a lot of people I want to see her face.
Hmm. That's
Mickey
a whole.
James,
Oh
Thunder
wow.
Rosa, Jordan Grace. Like, there's a whole ton of people that would be really, really great competitors with her. So I'm super interested to see where she goes next.
Yeah, yeah. She's gonna have some great stories to tell. I
Yeah,
can't wait to go on this journey with her.
agreed.
Yeah.
All right, you can find me at PW Front Row across all the socials, and please like, subscribe, and set your alerts for our shows on the Mission Pro YouTube channel. Check us out across all our socials at Mission Pro Wrestling, and we're going to see y'all next week. Thanks for joining. Have a great weekend.